You're listening to Chicago Stories, a new podcast from City Hall featuring the stories of everyday Chicagoans as told to Mayor Emanuel.
This is Mayor Emanuel with Chicago Stories. We're joined today by Mark Johnson from Tiny Lounge, and we're going to talk about what it's like to have a bar in the city of Chicago and the evolution of Chicago and its bar scene over the years. Mark, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, I should actually probably tell everybody, Mark and I first got to know each other when we were trying on the Tiny Lounge over at Addison and Lincoln, when we did the Brown Line extension, try to save it. And so what ended up was I became a big drinker at the Tiny Lounge. We didn't save it. We moved it somewhere else. So walk people through that experience, what it's like. How long were you guys there?
So the original Tiny Lounge opened in 1999, and we closed due to the Brown Line renovation in 2006. We were closed for 3 years, and then ended up in Lincoln Square,
right,
on Levitt, just south of Montrose, where we've been since 2009.
How'd you guys pick the location first on Addison, and was that the first bar you ever did, and what made you want to do a bar?
So the original location was opened by my business partner, Colleen. It was a bar called Giannini's from the 40s.
That was the original?
That was the original bar. And old man Giannini passed away, and none of of his progeny wanted to continue in the bar business. So Colleen was able to pick that up, and we were really one of the first cocktail bars in the city, this kind of resurgence of cocktail culture.
Why do you think that is? And what got you interested in owning a bar?
Both of us kind of fell into the business. I studied political science in college.
It's a natural, man. And, doing politics turns you to drinking.
Yeah, exactly. And
really, you studied? I didn't know that.
I did, yeah. And Colleen studied biomechanical engineering, so we both kind of fell into it. I was with Morton's, and she was with Lettuce, and.
No, I can't let you off that easy, brother. So you were studying political science. You're a Morton. How do you and Colleen meet up? Why do you decide to do a bar, and and then why do you think the cocktail scene is? I remember that it was a classic. Actually, Amy and I used to go there when we were dating. Not dating, but we're early on, and we just came back and stuff. So what happened?
I think people's. At that time, if you remember a lot of the drinks on our menu, we look at the menus from that time, the late 90s, and it's like everything had sugar in it. Everything was like, chocolate martinis, and the people's palates have become certainly more sophisticated. And we've seen that with craft beer in particular. But back to your earlier question, I think what appealed to us was just, this sense of providing a place for people in the neighborhood to commune, to get together. The tavern has such a special place in Chicago history. Back to the saloon days, where it was this kind of focal point for the neighborhood. Right. Where, it was oftentimes in poorer neighborhoods the only place that had a safe. It was the place where there was a collection plate if a tragedy had befallen someone in the neighborhood. Union meeting halls, you could cash your check, you could get a decent meal. So this idea...
It really was a local bar or tavern was the community room. It
really was. So what we've tried to do, by extension, in all of our locations is really provide that, in places where you wouldn't expect it. Navy Pier, the Riverwalk, these iconic high volume locations, but where everyone we encounter, we're treating them like we would treat a local in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I love going to your place on Levitt. Is just kind of at the end of, let's say Amy and I go out for a movie and dinner or whatever with friends before we go home, stop, have a drink, have a second drink. No, and then just one, and then kind of walk our way home. So it is. Have you seen that change in the sense of becoming more transient, or still kind of the desire for the evening coffee shop, where the bar has become what the coffee shop is during the day? The bar has become that at night, in the sense of.
In the neighborhood, you mean?
Yeah, kind of a community sense, given that the community is different than we used to do them by kind of ethnicity and history, and now it's changing.
It's different now. We've seen a lot in Lincoln Square, which was, historically a working class and, a German neighborhood. So as property values have gone up and the neighborhood's changed a little bit, it's not quite the same, but still plenty of regulars. But we've kind of brought that whole attitude to the river, and now we're developing regulars downtown. I'm amazed by how many people live right down in the Loop. Particularly the kids that are younger.
Yeah,
they're not interested in having a car. They enjoy the convenience of being downtown, and we see them a lot.
The Riverwalk's become their kind of hangout.
It's become their hangout post work.
How's that going for you, the Riverwalk?
It's been fantastic. Yeah, we love it.
Better than expectation?
Better, I would say better than expectations, but we didn't really know what to expect going into it, quite honestly. But it's just been fantastic, the energy, and it's really about locals with some tourists sprinkled in. We have a series called Singers of Songs, that's Mondays and Wednesdays, and then alternate Sundays, we started a new series called Tales from the Riverbank. We set up the artists. Well, you saw that.
Right, I saw the one.
You saw the one. So we're continuing that, featuring authors and poets, and
Has the coffee piece of it been successful? In the morning.
Every week it grows.
It is amazing. I was down there. So Saturday, before I did a dinner to close out the Warrior games that Chicago's hosting, I had extra 30 minutes or 20 minutes. So I just decided to now walk the Riverwalk. I can't tell you how many times people thank you for this or that. But that said, it is amazing to me how people have just grabbed onto the river as if that was always part of our life as a city, when it was really everything apart from our city. It was like the thing you never looked at, the thing you never went. And why do you think that? Why do you think people just kind of? I mean, I have my own theory, but what's your theory about why it's kind of the city's taken with it so quickly, both from a recreational and entertainment basis?
Yeah, I think that it provides this really unique vantage point to not only appreciate the water, but when the sun goes down, you have the reflective surface of the water, and then you have these incredible architecture, and it gives you a different vantage point. It's almost like a canyon, a hidden canyon, right there in the city.
That's how Cultural Affairs is marketing it, the new canyon.
It's amazing, and so I think that's why people are really taking it.
I want to push a little farther. Tell me why. So, in 1999, you opened up. You still got the neighborhood thing. What do you think's changed about why people are going towards beer to craft? Why they've gone from drinks with sugar to kind of a more sophisticated? What's going on in the scene, both from the bar itself to the type of liquor people are drinking, and your notion of regulars versus people, and how people kind of hear about the Tiny Lounge or the Tiny Tapp? What the name do you guys use over at the Navy Pier?
So Navy Pier is Tiny Tavern.
Tiny Tavern.
The Riverwalk is Tiny Tapp.
I should let everybody
Cafe.
know who's listening on podcast. Mark's about 6'3", 6'4".
I'm 6'2",
okay,
and a little change.
So tiny's kind of like oxymoron.
Right, exactly. So I think part of people's changing tastes is down to just increased health consciousness. But I noticed particularly with the 20-somethings that their level of sophistication in what they drink and how they drink is way beyond anything when we were kids.
So how do you stay ahead of it? I mean, or how do you kind of research it? Or how do you kind of, because like when I come in, you're always like, here's a new beer. How do you guys do that?
It's a lot of it is working with vendors, but we're super conscious of making sure that we're always trying to work with local and push local, and we think it's incumbent upon us to really try to help and work with other local businesses that are in the same boat we are. So I think I may have turned you on to Moody Tongue, the Nectarine IPA. They're down in Pilsen. Really revolution, and the same thing with our cafe. All of our beans are locally roasted. We roast to order, So, if you come down later today, you have an espresso. It's it's the dark matter unicorn blood, and it was roasted less than 7 days ago. So
and that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, we're small, so we can be more nimble. But our focus has always been on trying to promote the businesses that are doing such great work here in the city. There's so many talented people here, and we want to be an advocate for all of that.
Yeah, the microbrewery scene is just on fire here in the city. That's why we've started this, Friday night flights, where we're going to highlight a couple of different neighborhoods, the microbreweries. I mean, I kept trying to stay on top of it. And
there seems like there's a new one opening almost every month. Yeah.
We just gave some money to a couple that are doing one in Englewood.
Really, that's fantastic.
Yeah, they just start. We did it through our Thrive Zone and try to start a microbrewery in Englewood.
Okay.
With a scene. So I'll get you the name to make sure that.
Please.
So that when they get started up, because we should do everything we can as a city.
Absolutely.
No, it is. It's interesting, isn't it? That and they kind of taste and all that and all the. As a former political scientist, I'm sure you. What'd you do in political science?
Nothing. Ever.
Where did you grow up in Chicago?
So I was born in Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City?
I was born in Oklahoma City, St. Anthony's Hospital. My father is from Idabel, Oklahoma.
How long did
grew
your
up on
family?
A farm, and my mother is from Oklahoma City. We moved here.
No, but how long was his history in Oklahoma?
Way back. Yeah, all my extended family's in Oklahoma and Texas.
Really?
Yeah, and so we came to Chicago. I was like 10. We came here.
What brought you here?
My dad got promoted, got a job promotion.
Okay.
So
your mother hated it?
Oh, yeah, but
because of the weather.
Because of the weather, it was a shock.
And how big is the family?
I have one brother who is a writer. He writes for Cranes. He's a Northwestern guy. He and his wife live in Avondale. So
is he a younger or older brother?
He's younger.
Are you guys close?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
I mean, somebody grew up with two other brothers.
Yeah.
I bet you weren't close growing up.
No.
Right.
No.
College.
A lot of this.
Right. And you come back after.
Yeah, I come back, and then it's, No, he's a good guy, a talented guy.
And he's a writer at Cranes.
Yeah, he writes for Modern Healthcare, which is a division of Cranes, but he's in the Cranes building. Yeah.
So where did you guys grow up in Chicago?
So we grew up in the south suburbs. We went to Bloom Township High School. And so Chicago Heights, Homewood down there. And then my business partner, Colleen, is a Southsider as well. She's a Mother Macaulay girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Southside Irish. Big Irish family.
So how'd you guys hook up? I mean, I get that she buys the bar.
Yeah, so we met at the original Tiny Lounge probably within 6 months of its inception. At the time, I was running a bar in Wrigleyville called the Ginger Man Tavern.
Yeah.
I was there in the 90s.
Just moonlighting after because of Morton's wasn't the deal?
I was there, and I kind of gravitated towards the bar business. Ginger Man was one of the first bars on the north side that really had an extensive beer collection that was kind of a little different. And it was kind of the last bastion of Bohemia left in Wrigleyville, and so we always had an eclectic jukebox there, and of course you were right next door to Metro, so there were always bands coming through, and it was
never leaving.
Right, exactly. But so that's how we met, and then we
and you went into business with her.
Yeah, and we quickly found out that we had kind of very like-minded sensibilities, both aesthetically and in terms of how we believe in treating employees and people we do business with, and so it's.
I should probably, for those who haven't been to the Tiny Lounge, the one on Addison, the width of it was what? 20 feet, 18 feet, man?
Maybe. I mean, the total space was probably a shade under 900 square feet. So, it was.
And the design of it was kind of like, in the sense of the booth and the darkness, and it kind of a very intimate kind of.
Very intimate, very.
With a hush feeling to it.
Very Art Deco kind of look.
It was great for dates. So let me just say that.
It was.
I'm not sure Amy would have stayed with me if it wasn't for.
Really?
Oh,
we sealed the deal for you?
Yeah, we have kind of a thing. Once she finds something she likes, she wants to go back. Yeah. I'm like, something new every day. Let's go try a new restaurant. Let's go do this. So it was at the end of a evening, etc. I said, I want to go to the Tiny Lounge. I want you to see this. And she goes, I don't want to go. I said, no, we got. Actually, I want to go to sleep. It was Saturday night. It was late, or whatever. So I went there, and then it's become her. And now she always over at the place on Levitt, man.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Tiny Lounge.
It's nice to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way, creature of habit. I will go if you're nice to me and you have a good product. I'll go forever. Till you know. So.
My thing is always explore something new. Just kind of take it under. How's Colleen then?
She is a little bit of both, I think. Yeah, a little bit of both. Yeah, but
Let me ask you a question. When you're looking to hire people, you talk about how you treat them. Give me the character, the myth. There's a mythology, or there's the bartender. That person, as you talk about the bar, or the tavern as kind of the community room, they're kind of a mythological. In our culture, they play a role as the psychologist.
Absolutely.
The why, that person that you pour your soul out to, or who gives you. So, what do you look for when you're not just looking for somebody who knows how to make it. Although making a drink is kind of like.
Yeah,
you gotta
but I can teach anyone that though.
Right.
But you can't teach kindness or empathy. I think there needs to be a kind of innate emotional intelligence. And you have to be
your emotional IQ's got to be high.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you look for when you're interviewing? Have you ever made a big blunder, and then
of course,
and then have you ever made one, but on the upside also, not just on the downside, meaning you never, I'll take a risk, and the person turns out to be a home run.
Absolutely. Some kids surprise you, and then some grow in the role. We've had, some employees who've started. We had one employee who started as a barback, busser, and ended up being one of our managers and creating.
Really?
Ended up creating, arguably our most popular drink ever with the Suburban. And he was a kid that started.
The Suburban?
Yeah.
What was in it?
It's bourbon, Averna.
I should have probably guessed the Suburban.
Yeah,
what would have?
yeah.
My analytical skills are down. I got my rebate from Sarah Lawrence here.
So bourbon, Averna, which is an Italian Amaro, orange bitters, a little lemon, and ginger beer, and it's just wildly popular. And he started as a busser.
And my new drink is dark and stormy.
Yeah, it's great this time of year.
Do you go check other bars out to see how their vibe is, what you would like to learn? 8 o'clock tonight, Saturday night, we're gonna go hit 5 places. What do you could pick on? Not first we have to go to Tiny Lounge, I get that.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or 3 or 4.
We're gonna get a tiny burger.
Huh?
We're gonna go and get a tiny burger and some hand-cut fries, maybe some cheese curds. Maybe we'll split cheese curds.
Okay.
Then after that, one of my favorite bars now is down in Pilsen, Punch House, which is in the basement of Dusix,
right
next to Thalia Hall. I think they do a fantastic job, and there's like just this. They have this spirit of just a spirit of whimsy in their cocktail list. The last time I was there, they were doing adult snow cones.
Really?
Yeah, where they were hand shaving the ice, and I was like, oh man, this is great. They have fondue boards, and they always have good DJs. And I love the fact that the crowd is always super mixed there. Not just ethnicities but ages too. So that's a fun room. I like some of the old classic bars. I like Green Door Tavern.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just. There's a lot of history there.
You been to any of the bars down in Ukrainian Village?
I've been to some. Yeah.
See, anything. My thing here is anything that used to be kind of like the reason I think the Tiny Lounge is. It was a German neighborhood. It was very steep. They still have a German paper, and there's a kind of a tavern history, and so where you kind of go to Ukrainian Village. Or like you said, Pilsen was gone from Czech to Mexican to now hipsters.
Right.
That kind of history kind of steeps a place because it's in the architecture of the building or the room. I don't know, that's my take on it.
No, I think you're right. I think it's there's something that is in the DNA of these fantastic old structures that kind of resonates.
Is it hard to replicate on the Navy Pier or Riverwalk? Those are just different things.
Here's the thing. I think it's challenging. But the common thread is that welcoming, attitude, that treating everyone like a regular. educating people about who maybe are not from here about some of the great craft beers that are here, some of the spirits that are being produced here.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask us about the river, about the buildings. Where do I catch the architect? How can I catch the water taxi? So these are all things. This is where we're trying to be ambassadors for the city.
All right, ready? We do a fast round here. You ready?
Okay.
Thick or thin pizza?
Thin.
Thin. Oh.
Yeah. Pie cut thin.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I hate those little
16-inch or 12-inch?
16.
Okay.
No mitts. Come on. Why do you think I got all these broken fingers?
Lake or river?
Right now, I got to say river.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else and you get in trouble. Cubs or Sox?
Absolutely White Sox.
Really?
Always. Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, South Side.
Bike or public transportation?
Bike.
Ooh, that was quick. That was the quickest answer of all.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a heritage guy. I got a heritage. I'd bike for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, folks, this has been Mark Johnson from our favorite Tiny Lounge. And I'd like you all, if you like this, to subscribe to Chicago Stories on iTunes. And thank you. Thanks for being here,
Thanks
man.
for having me. It's an honor. I appreciate
Tell
it.
Colleen I love her too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Got it.
You have been listening to Chicago Stories, a new podcast from City Hall featuring the stories of everyday Chicagoans as told to Mayor Emanuel.